Hi, this is my channel. Welcome. It's complicated, so call me Kay. Well, there's a lot of talk going on. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of it can be very distractive, but hey, it gives a lot of content for different content creators. And pretty much, I'm a content creator, so even though I'm fairly new, I'm still testing light and things of that nature. So please bear with me. My first video is probably not gonna be that great, but I'm gonna just keep it this way. So if the lighting is not that great, I go ahead and apologize first. Anyways, I had to rush back home because I felt like, oh my goodness, I have to talk about this. I really, really have to talk about this topic. So basically, I just washed my hair and just left it as a wash and go because I have an appointment, a stylist appointment on Tuesday, but I didn't want to not wash my hair still because I washed it, I think it was last Sunday. I worked out a few times and unfortunately I got sick. So I spent a few days not working out. And plus, after a strength training workout on Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those 2 days, increased my pounds, was sore. So but that's besides the point. So basically, there's a lot that I need to talk about as far as this Aoki Simmons dating this older white guy. I don't have the information in front of me right now of him, but I will try to get that soon. Might hear my cat coming in, but I'm in my bedroom. Excuse me, I'm still having that quote unquote runner's cough. So basically, Aoki Simmons, she's one of the daughters of Russell Simmons, the rap mogul, who's now living in Bali, supposedly running from rape charges. And her mom is a famous supermodel slash businesswoman. She owned the company Baby Fat. And it was big during the Y2K era, and it was very popular. Because, in my opinion, me, I would say working in the fashion because I have a resale business at this time. So if you want to stop by, shameless plug, Fashion Euphoria, Poshmark, Macari, eBay, and you can find some things on Grail. But anyways, back to the topic. Well, their daughter is dating somebody a lot older than her. She's in her early 20s, maybe early to mid 20s, whereas this older white gentleman, he's in his 60s, but he's wealthy. He owns some type of restaurant chain. I can't think of the name of it, but it is what it is. But what I want to talk about is basically my opinions on this situation. And because there's a lot of opinions about the situation. One, a lot of people saying she's too young. And to a point, I kind of agree because I have two daughters. I have one who just turned 19 years old last month, and I have another daughter who's 15 years old. And the main thing that I teach my daughters is basically self-love. Self-love. That's the main thing I try to teach my daughters. Try to increase your self-esteem, increase your confidence. Don't worry about looking for love and validation from outside forces. Don't worry about trying to fit in with a whole bunch of your peers, even though that's pretty much common because, teens are still learning more about themselves and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's all about self-love. Well, I'm going to give you a little background about my take on things. Well, me growing up, I'm a child of the 80s, teen of the 90s. So pretty much a lot of kids, teens at that time, Generation X pretty much had to raise themselves. I was a latchkey kid, and I feel like a lot of things I had to learn on my own growing up, especially when I was a lot younger. And then on top of that, my preteens up until I turned 18 and about to graduate from high school, my family started going to church. So it was like the church would teach, basically learn the teachings of the church. And imagine that, I feel like we live in a patriarchal society, and church, what I mean is basically Protestant church, Baptist, Catholic, whatever type of religion, period, especially religions that are based on Abrahamic philosophies. But I can only really speak on my experience. So basically, as far as being concerned in dating, I only was taught to keep your legs closed. Um, don't have sex until you're married, and that's about it. But don't stop. Don't be worried about those. Don't be worried about them little boys at school. Get your education and all that type of stuff. You know, to me, it's kind of like lazy teaching. It's really not teaching. It's just I'm gonna tell you something and let you go on about your business. But to me, as a parent, it's more to that besides keep your legs closed, wait till you're married, and all that. Because at the end of the day, all of us are humans. All of us have certain biology. You know, all of us, well, most of us, especially men, boys and men, no matter what your color is, your background, is fighting hormones and chasing sex. So, but as women growing up, I would say a lot of and some of my peers, I would say a good amount of peers decided, to go to, graduate high school, go to college, get your education, and this and that. But we never were taught on how to date. And so I never was taught. And I feel like, honestly, growing up, I would say black boys weren't really checking for me. Black men weren't really checking for me. And if I had the occasional black, black male checking for me, it was basically just a test to see if they can get in my panties, and that was about it. It seemed like it was never really anything expected to be serious. And I know a lot of people put shame around this when it comes to the topic of virginity, but knowing what I know now, I'm like, I would tell most girls, keep your virginity as long as you can, period. Not because I'm a big believer in marriage, this, that, and the other, because right now, at this point in my life, I don't believe in marriage. All I really believe in is getting my money, living my life, traveling, whatever I can get my hands on to do. That's about it. But back to the story. So I was in college. Like I said, no black guys were really checking for me or whatever. And if they were, they really weren't really chasing me per se. Because half the time, during that time, I'll admit, even though I knew I was smart in things, but I lacked that confidence and I lacked that self-esteem. So if boys were checking me, young men, were checking me while I was in college, and even, after graduation, I wasn't really noticing it because deep down inside, I really didn't really value myself. Now that totally flipped. But anyways, so I would say fast forward, I met my ex-husband after I graduated. No, I met him when I was about to graduate college. And mind you, in normal circumstances, I wouldn't have been checking for him. I probably see him in the street and then just kept on moving because he definitely wasn't my type or anything like that. But I believe because of patriarchy, not really knowing my worth and all that type of stuff, and basically wanting love, it was for him, it was the right time, right place, right moment, right settings, all that type of stuff. So, and then on top of that, he kind of got me at my lowest because during my last year, I didn't know. First of all, I couldn't move back into the dorms because I couldn't afford to at the time. I didn't want to move back home because at the time, me and my mom wasn't really close at all, and she basically didn't really value me as a young adult and things of that nature, which I won't get too much into it. So it was just like a dark period in my time, trying to make sure that I graduate, and then didn't have no support financially, financial support, mental support, no support at all from my mom or from, you know, really anybody, family members or nothing. It seemed like they weren't really that excited. It's like, we don't give a fuck whether you graduate. We don't even really fuck with you because we don't even know, if you graduate or not. Because when I told my family that I was graduating, people were like, "Oh, you graduated this year?" Because nobody really checked up and said, asked, "Oh, how are you doing? How's your I'm sorry, my hair, this is bad camera quality in my opinion." But anyways, um, so nobody really, you know, check like fuck with me. And honestly, kind of still don't really fuck with me. But that's another story. So I married my ex-husband, this, that, and the other. I already knew I truly didn't love him. I thought he loved me until later on I found out, before I knew what the word was at the time, that he was basically a narcissist and just basically used my energy, knew that I had the potential to make good income because I was a college graduate. And my belief as a person who believes in spirituality, I feel like my blessings were blocked because of that. Because me, as far as my beliefs, as far as narcissism, yeah, there's psychology behind it. But at the same time, I feel like a true definition of narcissist, when I'm talking about narcissism, I'm not talking about narcissistic tendencies or a high level of narcissistic tendencies. I'm talking about the true psychological definition of narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder. I truly believe he has a narcissistic personality disorder. He found the right host, which was me, to kind of latch on and go from there. So after having my two kids, I basically left the dude. I didn't want nothing to do with him. I kind of started my little spidey senses kind of, told me something was up with this dude. First of all, I already knew the red flag right before marriage was, we went out of town, we eloped, and then it seemed like the switch. That's when you know you married you with somebody who's narcissistic. They will show the love, and it's just like a light bulb. As soon as they know that they married to you, or all that, they got you. That was it. They changed immediate, and I noticed that change. And it seemed like all the love and care that he showed, and the understanding and all that type of stuff, just went out the window. And then was other things that was kind of going on during their marriage that I'm like, that not only I noticed from him alone, but it seemed like some of the things were affecting me as well. And I'm like, something's not right with him. And I pretty much, love was lost for a long time, well before that separation and divorce. And basically told him I wanted a divorce, pushed him out my way, literally by cops. And that's it. And after that, I really had to build my self-esteem up. I started getting counseling, this, that, and the other, as far as my, depression and all that type of stuff. And I just had a child. So when we separated, I think my oldest was around 4 and my youngest was about a few months old at the time. Because I just like, I don't need to deal with you because you are mentally abusive, emotionally abusive, and you just like a leech. So we didn't stay married very long. I'm divorced. I've been divorced from him longer than I've been married. So basically, that's my background. Now back to the future. Right now, in the present, I'm over 40 years old, and honestly, I feel like the self love and the peace that I have in my life is priceless. And with that being said, I feel like any woman, I can only speak for women, is who's in that situation, who's love themselves, probably, oh, I ain't gonna say probably, they have threw away a lot of or all of patriarchy doctrine and philosophy, as as far as relationships, love, and marriage. And and honestly, with this, and then you love yourself. I enjoy my own company, not just because I'm an introvert. I definitely enjoy my own company. I enjoy my own company. I love myself. People can sometimes probably say I'm boring because, heck, I don't, that's a long story short, but in my spirituality process, I slowly stopped social media. It's like, now what, this wasn't really intentional. It's just like a slow process. And I feel like all my life I was very intuitive. And I noticed because a lot of times my intuition would tell me something and then I ignore it. And then when I look back, I'm like, I see now my intuition was really giving me all these warning signs about something. Or a lot of times it's not just about something bad, it's about good. Like, hey, my intuition is telling me maybe you need to move forward in something. So, anyways, so basically, what I was about to say, so basically, when you're in a situation where you truly love yourself, you content, you don't take any bullshit from anybody, man, woman, child, or anything, you are very, very selective. And if you're still out there dating, you're very, very selective in who you're dating. And that's where I come to. That's where I'm at mentally right now. And what I noticed just listening to, first of all, I would tell all women, please stop listening to men. Please stop listening to men tell you about what you should do in order to get a man. First of all, women normally not going out there telling men what they should do to get a woman because we already know men don't really listen to us. And on top of that, you don't really see a lot of men talking to other men about how to improve because a lot of men don't like listening to advice, especially I would say a lot of younger men and that's been that way from all generations. Men in general, I believe, don't like listening to other men. And on top of, and then you don't really see other men really going out their way to talk to other men, except unless it's, especially in the black community, unless it's just toxic and some bullshit and all that type of stuff, you know. Get them draws from her, and all this type of bullshit, toxic stuff. Bring her down, bring her down. Use her, abuse her, get what you need. Get that nut. I mean, it's all this other it's like, dude, toxic Blackistan. That's what I call it, Blackistan. And I know that stuff happening in white communities. And when I say, just to make it short, when I say white communities, I mean Asians, white Hispanics, probably Native Americans, and Middle Easterners. So when I say white, and if I say Hispanics, please forgive me because I know people say that's not really a good word to say. So if I did say that, I'm just going to say Spanish. That comprise, in my opinion, Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, so on and so forth. So, anyways, um, I would say just stop listening to them. Because at the end of the day, to me, in my opinion, it's like you really have the audacity to tell me as a woman how to be a woman. And then when you notice, the goalpost is always moving. It was like first you calling us gold diggers back in the 80s and 90s, and then you call us high maintenance, and then you say that we don't like all the weaves and all this type of stuff, probably in the 90s and the 2000s. And now you're saying that you're too independent, you're too masculine, you too this, you too that, you too other. I'm like, you know what? Fuck all that. Just be yourself. Stop listening to them. Stop listening to them. And a lot of men who say a lot of this stuff, they broke, whether it's broke financially or broke spiritually. So my opinion is, I would say start listening to other women, especially the ones who got some sense and all this stuff. And some people probably say, men and women will probably say this, well, you're not married, you didn't have a successful marriage. But guess what? Marriage is not the end goal. And then when I look at a lot of married people, half the time they don't even trust their husbands. And they barely can have any friends around because they don't even trust their friends to be around their husbands or their significant others. And then that's vice versa. And then a lot of times they looking all miserable and stuff and just unhappy. Like, I'm just getting through life. I'm just getting through life in general. And honestly, I lost a lot of friends, especially when I got my divorce. It was as if some people probably ended up pick sides in my ex. They fell for the gag. And then some of them probably didn't trust me. Oh, you're an attractive lady. I don't trust you with being friends. You have to have a man for me to trust you. And another thing is, while married women are worried about us, they might be want to check their boyfriends. Oops, that was probably a Floridian slip. They might want to check their husbands' partners, they bros or whatever. Because while you over here looking at this girl here who's single, like she's a threat, your husband or your significant others might be digging it down after they play basketball or something. But that's a whole nother story. So, as far as Aoki, she's a grown woman, and I'm assuming she's really smart. Because she's went to Harvard, and that's a whole nother story. But my thing is, she comes from wealth. She grew up. She was born with, so she's not used to. I'm assuming she's well traveled. Her mom, Kimora Simmons, I'm assuming, is hella smart. She's been well traveled. She's been a model since she was a teenager. So they used to money. And my thing is, with Aoki, my thing is, I honestly don't see what she's doing is wrong, in my opinion. She's like, I don't know the ins and outs of her relationship and all that, but I'm like, dude, me on the other hand, I'm in my 40s, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm at peace with myself. I'm not bitter or anything like that. So I prefer the company of myself. I'd rather have true women friends around me versus chasing and being chased by men. And I will give you an example because I recently went on a date with somebody not that long ago. And on paper, he seemed like a great man, about the same age as I am. Chocolate skin, got a great job. And then also, had the accent going on. So everybody be like, ooh, he's sexy, he's chocolate. Girl, I can have his babies, da 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 da. But to me, I'm not that superficial. I'm not that anxious to bring somebody in my life. So I'm like, I don't know him very well. I will give it a shot. But during that during the time of before that date, mind you, I wasn't doing no online dating or whatever. We met under certain circumstances. I put it that way. So I talked to him a little bit, whatnot. So, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I know a lot of men so well and know their game. One, like most men, especially black men, honestly, they think they're the prize. I really do believe they think they're the prize. So they don't even know the value of oh, being in a woman's company. And on top of that, because they don't understand that value of being in a woman's company, they would take women for granted. You know what I'm saying? So basically we talked, and then I'm starting listening to some of the stuff that men normally usual say to a woman. And mind you, I didn't tell him what I'm looking for in a man. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. And if I feel like you're not providing what I want, then it's off you go. And I told him that straight up. And I told him that, honestly, I'm really not looking for a man. If a man approaches me and start a conversation and he seemed like he got a good vibe or whatever, that's when I would give him a shot. And then I told him I'm celibate right off the bat. I'm not having sex. So this was between some of the conversations we had. So we went on a date, and it was just annoying to me because one, it seemed like men are so entitled, feel like they're so entitled to us, and then they devalue women that they feel like that women will need them. Women need men in order for women to be valuable. That was a strike. I'm like, I don't need you. I'm happy. What make you guys give to me and to other women that I need you and I'm complete with you. So and then on top of that, we had conversations, and then his misogyny started showing a whole lot. And then on top of that, he kind of belittled my business and made a snide remark that, well, he'll be waiting to see what I say in a couple of months, basically saying that my business will fail because at the end of the day, I don't want to work for nobody. I enjoy my freedom. So and then I can tell in the middle of the day that he was kind of getting angry and kind of quote unquote passionate because we were sitting at a bar, a nice restaurant. That was another strike that he had, because he was, to me, it sounded he was being sarcastic, but he was basically like, why in the world? Like, basically, I live on this side of, I live on the other side of town, so I have to drive a bit to get to you. And then I gave him a chance. I'm like, what restaurants do you know? To see what he don't mind taking me to. So I'm like, well, he don't seem like he don't know. So I just like, it's a really nice restaurant that's near me. So can you take me there? And I guess he thought that restaurant was too pricey. So he's like, okay, well, I'm going here, and all the way on the other side of town, I'm going to meet you at this restaurant. Then we had a conversation, and then he kind of got a little carried away because the true self will start coming out. Because now you're trying to play it on use the same game, use the same rhetoric that you probably can get and bag any other woman. But I'm like, dude, if you meet a woman that knows herself, loves herself, values herself, and got peace in her life, it's like now you're frustrated. And I can tell other people who were sitting next to us at the bar kind of noticed and was like, what's going on, Because he sounded like he was getting passionate and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, dude, why you so upset? Calm the fuck down. And then, and then what made me really, then like I said, when you have self love, you will pick up on some of the things that somebody says, and then you'll be offended. You'll be like, excuse me? The audacity. The audacity. And then when we left, gave him a hug because all attraction went back to zero again. So I was attractive to him. And then when I kind of talked to him before the date, I kind of lost it. And then he said, then talked again at a point. I'm like, okay, he seemed cool. Probably because he learned some of me and like, okay, I can maneuver my game. And then I guess you have, at the end of the day, like I said, I can read you. I can read people very, very well. And after becoming spiritual and going through my spiritual awakening, that's like, dude, it scares me sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, and I'll probably have a conversation about my spiritual awakening later, but that's beside the point. So we walked out the restaurant together, gave each other a hug, and then he gonna ask me, do I wanna spend the night? No, it's not spend the night, but that was pretty much, common sense would tell me that's what he wanted me to do, because if you live in 30 minutes away or so from me, and I have to drive all the way to your house, you think I'm gonna, and it's already like after 10 o'clock, I think, and then I'm like, come on, I'm a grown ass woman. I already know what you're expecting. So basically, I mean, it's just the entitlement. So I was just like, dude, no, thank you. And then the next time I seen him, like I said, he lost. I'm like, I didn't talk to him no more, or whatever. I just kind of had my pleasantries, and then he reached out to me in person and was like, "Do you still want to talk or whatever?" And I just nonchalantly told him no. And I can tell he was kind of angry in the eyes, Then he kind of then left, and then he tried to play a game and try to make me jealous by talking to somebody else that I really didn't care too much for. At first, I didn't notice that he was doing that till I saw it. And I'm like, oh, okay then, but that's not going to work. So that was my experience, and I'm still happy. I feel like I didn't miss anything. Not questioning myself, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Because at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not worth my time. And I feel like being in a relationship is time and energy. As far as future relationships, like I said, I'm not really looking for a man. But at the same time, I do attract men. Whether it's just, I have to say something to you, let me open the door for you. Oh, you're running, and I have to really say something really, even I barely hear you because I have my earbuds on. You have to say something, I'm like, whatever. But my thing is, if I meet somebody, I'm going to just give a scenario. Say, for example, first of all, the way I feel like as a woman, I'm the value, period. A woman who stands in her confidence, a woman who loves herself, has high self-esteem, not full of ego. That's a difference between having a whole bunch of ego, you male identified in a sense as far as you relate more to the male mentally than you do your own female counterparts. My hair, I'm just keep playing my hair as I'm looking at it. And then on top of that, you love yourself, and then everything shows. I feel like as a woman, you're the value, because hell, I give birth. I can decide whether I want to give birth or not, and I can just pick. Okay, let me pick you. Okay, come here. Are you worthy of my time? Are you? And then if I'm not even having kids, I was like, would you rather? I'm speaking to the men now. Would you rather be in the company of a whole bunch of men and just 24/7, or you rather spend time with a woman who exudes feminine energy. When I say feminine energy, I don't mean just to make it, just the trappings of it. She exudes that energy, no matter how she looks. Short hair, long hair, makeup, not makeup, straight hair, natural hair, whatever. She exudes it. It's something about a woman's energy is totally different from another dude's energy, unless that's what that dude is into. And I'm speaking to the DL dudes. So basically, if I walk somewhere and I'm in my God, I don't say goddess time. They say demon time. I say God. I'm in my goddess time. That's what I am. I'm on goddess time. And I'm dressed nice, classic, all this type of stuff. I feel like the man that I'd be more attracted to, he's confident. He has his own business and all that type of stuff. You know, he got it going on. I can be in the same restaurant or a bar or whatnot. I don't care if you're a baller, basketball player, whatever. At the end of the day, what kind of mentality do you have? What's your mentality? Because I don't have time for a man who think they have to teach me something, because I'm smart on my own. I can learn something from you, but I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody to teach me anything, because guess what? I'm grown. And I feel like a man who's confident in himself and basically got the same qualities on the inside as I do, they at peace. They don't want anybody that will bring about strife, drama, and all that other toxic bullshit that a woman can bring. And then on top of that, the way you treat yourself will and show and appear will tell people whether you treat yourself like you love yourself, in a sense. Do you take care of yourself? This, that, and the other. And then of course you know a person more you start talking with them. So, and I will get more into all that. Like I said, whoever listens to this content and writing notes down, saying, okay, I like her, maybe I want to talk to her, you might as well put that pen down or put that phone down. Because at the end of the day, whoever you are for real it will show. And I will know. And honestly, that's why I've always been attracted to a lot of older men. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, you gotta know yourself. You gotta be confident in yourself. And honestly, because I have my own business to work for myself, I want somebody, if I was really out there dating and somebody approached me, I'd rather for them to have their own business and all that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I don't want no build-a-bear. One of my kids are grown and out the house. The other one has got a foot out the door. I don't want to bring nobody in and be an energy vampire and suck me all dry, till I can't do no more. And then they on to the next. So I would say, at the end of the day, my belief is I believe women just love yourself. You don't need to be out there chasing dick, because when you really know, men are nasty anyway. In general, a lot of men are nasty and don't really take care of themselves. So to the point they scared to even put soapy damp or soapy wet towel between their crack of their butt and their nuts, because they worried about being gay when they by themselves in the restroom just being clean. I mean, that don't make no sense to me. I'm like, I'm just scratching my head. Like, what? I'm like, honey, I'm gonna get clean, scrub a dub in that tub. I'm gonna get clean, fresh and clean. I don't need nobody who don't take. I mean, it's just wild out there. And I'm like, dude, no, that's just total. I'm like, you need to elevate a little bit. So That's my comment. I would say stop worrying about that's if you're dating out there looking for somebody. First of all, I feel like women shouldn't be looking. I feel like men should be looking. I feel like don't waste your time on online dating. Excuse me if you heard that, online dating, because it's a lot of it's like digging through the trash, trying to find some type of diamond in the rough. I say I'm not wasting my time with that. I haven't online dated since 2021. No, 2000. God, it's been so long ago. 2020, I think. That I really seriously haven't online dated. I put my foot out there after the pandemic, and then I quickly put my foot right back in. I'm like, no, that's okay. So I don't even do online dating. And I say, women, know your worth. Know your worth, know your value. Even if you don't feel like it at the time that you're not worth anything, I would say, woman, that's the time when you need to sit with yourself, whatever resources you have, um, get into that, whether it's counseling, therapy. I won't worry about whether people look at me funny, whether I'm taking medications or not for depression. Woman, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, your health. Appreciate being in your own company. And before you know it, you will realize I'm really not out there looking and seeking outside validation. I'm really enjoying myself. And then when you start doing that, you will value your peace. You will value what you built, was financially and all that, your career, all that. Enjoy your company. Once you start loving yourself, once you start gaining peace and tranquility in your life, you will realize how priceless that is, to the point that you don't even want to deal with somebody who's only can pay the light bill, because you realize how hard you worked. I'm like, dude, I worked too hard to get where I'm at for you to bring it down. And then I'm sitting here looking all frazzled, dazzled because of what you put me through, and depressed, acne, and all that type of stuff going on, and losing years of my life. I'm like, no. I would just say take some time out. And as far as spirituality and things, I would say, please, my opinion, do what you do, no judgment. I'll be like, girl, get out that church. Get out that church. Stop listening to the pastor. You know yourself. You are the value. You are the prize. And if a man come to you acting like you the prize, I'm like, boy, bye. You can just keep it moving. Because yes, he can bring some value to you. But at the end of the day, a true man who understands what a real woman is and what value she have, you don't have to go and put on the table half, or whatever they say, bring 50-50 and all that type of. I'm like, boy, bye. I'm 100%. You gotta bring 100%. And if I'm sitting around here working my ass off and I'm making some money, I'm not gonna sit here and stress and kill myself trying to build you up. I'm too grown for that. I mean, I can see if you in your early 20s, and even then, I say, girl, no. Just how I told my girls, whether they did it or not, I'm like, I said, don't get married in your 20s. If you decide to get married, which I don't believe in marriage, I'm keeping all my little wealth or whatever, I'm keeping it right to myself. I am stingy as fuck. So I would say, did I say go whore around? Nope, because disease is out there. But I said, I'll be like, girl, fuck these men right now. Y'all go get your education, learn some skills, build your cash reserves up, travel, enjoy yourself, go to concerts, and all that type of stuff. And then if you decide that you want a man, after you become mature, your brain don't stop developing until you're 26 years old, then that's when you can go out and be selective and be like, well, I'm not going to find the right guy because they're going to be married in their 20s. I'm like, girl, them same men that's probably married in their 20s going to be divorced in their 30s or whatever. So I'm like, girl, bye. So I would say just go ahead, and if you go on dates, go on dates. But you don't have to spread yourself out or whatever. You don't have to open your legs wide and high and all that type of stuff. Just go on your date, read these men like they the Twitter feed on your account, or should I say YouTube feed on your account, and keep it moving. Learn something from some of these people. Learn from Sierra, learn from Lori Harvey, learn from Aoki Simmons and other women. Like, learn from even older women, whether they did it right or they did it wrong. It'd be like, write your notes. Oh, I'm not gonna be marrying no broke ass nigga. And then next thing you know, I'm paying alimony because he was a broke ass nigga when I married him. I'm like, girl, no. That's why I'm saying you the prize. Don't listen to all these people that's trying to create an agenda. Don't listen to these songs that basically like, I eat ass, and I'm like, girl, don't bring yourself down to the gutter. Don't bring yourself down to hell. Just to get a man. You're doing everything you can to get this man. And then the thing is, not realizing you are the prize. So I would say, do that. I don't even like using the word gold digger, because that's pretty much what they call it. That's men projecting their behavior onto women. The men are real gold diggers, because that's the case. Why in the world people saying that it's okay to marry the man who can pay the light bill, as long as he's able to show love and be able to sit at the table? That tell me right there, you must have the money. He is the gold digger. Girl, no, believe me, I lived and learned. That first and last time, don't do it. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that topic. I know I didn't talk a lot about Aoki and all that type of stuff, if I'm pronouncing her name correct, because my name is difficult. That's why I say it's complicated. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was really long, almost an hour, but I had so much to say about this. If you haven't, and you've seen this video, please subscribe to my content. I really appreciate it. I'm a new content creator trying to build my platform up. Put me in the algorithms so people can notice, oh, somebody else might have a different perspective on this topic. And comment. I would love to hear your comments. And then I can either react to that comment, reach out, respond, so on and so forth. So I will see you then, going on my regular topics. Bye-bye.